Every time you get triggered, an emotional wound from your past is exposed. We need to understand how and why these triggers are bothering us still. Many of you may be in the fire pit of hell with your narcissist. My name is Tracy Malone, and today we're going to talk about triggers and this really cool new sheet that I'm going to send you a link to that you can go and download this sort of demystifying the trigger. Most of my clients, when I work with them who get triggered, it happens obviously unexpectedly. You're just walking down the street, you're just having a nice day with someone, and boom, they trigger you. Again, are they triggering you that moment with what they've done? Most definitely. But attached to it are emotions from the why that has happened from something in your past. So our goal is to demystify it, because when we get triggered, we have emotions, right? We get angry, we get sad, whatever it is, that whole spectrum of emotions that we can feel are triggered and they come back to us. And I actually use this little red ball with my clients. So let's just pretend the narcissist did something, right? They did an event, whatever it was, and you got emotional, angry, sad, all kinds of things that go into this, right? And we sit there with this anger on top of us and we think, well, why did you get mad? Well, because of the ball, because of whatever the thing was that they did. But the reality is that there's more than just this. There's more of than the hurt and the sadness and the emotions from the emotional wheel that we experience. Our emotions that get triggered from the past have to do with things like the way we felt, not just the anger, sadness part, but I felt like the bad guy. I felt forgotten. I felt ignored. I felt unloved. I felt unheard. So our goal in this worksheet, and when I designed this, is to get you to journal about the triggers so that you're processing the trigger. You're actually looking at it and going, oh, that's why. And then it's almost like when you've processed it, this big unknown umbrella of pain that you're feeling, this intense anger or this intense sadness, whatever it was that they've triggered you for. We can have shame triggers. We can have, anger triggers. We can have sadness triggers. It's all depending on what the trigger does for you and what it brings back and where it came from in the past. So we have to name the emotions, right? We're going to journal. We're going to say, this is what happened. Red ball. We're going to journal. It has a happy face on it. Yes. It's red ball, right? What happened? You write it down in your journal and then you go, I feel it this way. I'm angry. Ask yourself, are you angry or are you defensive? Are you frustrated? There's a whole bunch of gamut. This sheet that I'm going to send you, you have a whole bunch of emotions that you can pick from and go, that's it. Or maybe it's 10 of them, right? Jot down, really analyze where you're feeling it. And then I want you to look at where you feel it in your body, because a lot of people hold anger, sadness in different places. Like some people get it in their shoulder, some people get it in their solar plexus, some people's guts go crazy when these things happen. And it's seemingly like, why is this happening? I don't understand, right? But when we start to track how we react when someone triggers us, when someone invalidates us or makes us feel less than or not good enough, like that's when we go, I always get bad stomach things when I feel this way. So then that takes a little bit of the surprise, because now you're demystifying the trigger, right? So once we see how it feels in our body, we also have to look at how do we soothe ourselves when we get this, right? If you're absolutely riddled with anxiety, write down, how do I normally heal myself? So some people meditate, some people do yoga, some people take a nap, some people come under the covers and don't come out for a week. Some people go for a run or walk, have a glass of wine, take a hot bath, whatever you're looking at as your coping mechanism when you get blank, sad, when you get this, I do this, and that helps me, right? I go for a long walk and I feel a little bit better. So start to analyze yourself. How do you handle it when it physically attaches to your body? Because if you don't know that, again, this big umbrella, every time I do that, my face goes yellow. The big umbrella of this explained like phenomenon that's going on in your body, it's confusing. And that puts you even in a more emotional place, right? So then our next task on sheet 2, again, you're going to get a link to this, is finding the why behind the trigger. It's not just as simple as like, I'm angry, because then we have, again, we need to go deeper. So again, those things, I feel excluded, I felt powerless, I felt judged, blamed, disrespected. You may have all of them, right? That thing that someone did, the thing, right, has now taken you into a place where you're feeling completely a whole bunch of things. I want you to then look at, are you safe right now? Because again, the triggers bring back stuff from your childhood. And then you have to ask yourself, is it now? Yes, but is it really coming from somewhere else? When you figure that part out, you are demystifying the trigger, and you can stop it from like affecting your mood, and you can take back your day instead of letting that trigger completely ruin you. You have to learn this strategy to put the pieces back quicker. And the more you do it, like in this, I'm telling you to journal about it, but once you start to get the hang of debugging and demystifying, finding the why behind your triggers, you're going to find your life is completely different, because you can do this in your head. Like, just do it, right? So now you're safe. I'm safe. And then you look at the historical like reason for the why. Okay, let's just use I'm being disrespected. Okay, if that's what it is that's come up for you, when do I remember feeling disrespected in my past? Is this from blank? How far back does this happen? Does my body react the same way in that historical part of understanding it? Again, putting the pieces together, dig deep. I have some examples. I'm going to read you one or two of them, because the examples of figuring this out is when someone tells me how to live my life, I get angry because I feel controlled, right? Lots of victims of a narc feel this, right? When someone tells me I did something wrong, I feel not good enough and I feel shame, right? Look at, and I have this example on this where you like, it's like Mad Libs, trigger Mad Libs. I love it. I'm going to call it that. It's filling in the blanks. When this happens, I feel this, right? So you start to go, oh, okay. You're demystifying the trigger, right? They're always going to happen. And they never happen when we expect them. That's the part and the beauty of a trigger, is they come when they want to and when they've tapped into an unhealed wound. I use this last example I'm going to share with you with my clients and my groups. And it's a simple story, but when we have something that triggered us in our past, for example, I'll use the story of when you were 10, your brother pushed you out of a tree and you broke your arm. So you go back to school on Monday and you tell everybody, oh my God, he pushed me out of the tree and I broke my arm in an ambulance. You've got all this emotion of that particular thing, right? You're just hyper vigilant and everything's like, oh, all jacked up. But a year later, you look at the scar and you go, yep, my brother pushed me out of a tree. What a jerk. You don't have the emotion. Our goal is to leave the emotions back with that historical thing, because you're safe now, right? Yes, this person triggered it, but they're bringing up old stuff. And so if we can think and debug it and demystify it by writing out, grab a journal, trigger. I actually have a journal, which I'm going to hold up the sample of because I have to go launch it. It'll be live by the time this video goes live because it's ready. My sample arrived and it says not for resale, but it is. Can't make this shit up, processing your trigger journal. And in it, I basically give you all those sheets. Here's how we do it. And then we look at our next sheet, which is the emotions and the feelings. And we look at all of that. And it helps us. And then we've got those little fill in the blank things. And then the rest of the journal is yours to write things in. You can find this on Amazon. I have a whole series called Targeted Healing Journals, but that one's my last one that I'm going to publish for this year, and it'll be out very soon. As I said, by the time this video, it is December 23rd, 2021. By the time this is out there, you're going to be able to get that book, but you can pick up your own book and then go to my website, narcissistabusesupport.com/triggers. When you go there, you'll be able to download this part, which is all of the stuff that's in here. Grab your own piece of paper, process this stuff, and figure out your triggers. This is a time of year where people need to understand and like demystify them so that they can heal the wounds and not let it take them down for quite as long. Remember, healing is not about it being perfect. It's about each time you're triggered, getting through it faster, getting through without the pain, without the confusion. And wow, that one only took me 3 days under the cover versus a week is still improvement, right? Every single time, the more work you do on it, the more you process what happened, the clearer picture you'll have so that the blindsidedness doesn't really take you down the way it used to. This is Tracy Malone. Visit my website, narcissistabusesupport.com, and find out so much more of all of the resources that we have on the website and to get you support. As you can see, wrong hand, I have a new book, big book out right now called Divorcing Your Narcissist. You can't make this shit up. That's why I created the You Can't Make This Shit Up journals, which I'm just launching now. There's 16 of them, from understanding your anger and understanding your fears and processing these little tiny things with all the little instructions that I teach in my groups and to my clients. These little tiny tactics of how to journal about it are going to get you started. And so that's all I've got to you today. May peace be with you. Try to figure out your triggers. Don't let them control you. You're done with people controlling you, and you can take control of your emotions. This is Tracy Malone. Have a great day.